So Lawrence, thanks for taking the time to chat with us and just giving us a case study of what it's been like to work with myself and with VO2. Could you just give us a brief background of your sporting history before you met us?
Sure. Yeah, I kind of got into sport cycling as a kid. I say sport. I did a bit of riding with my dad on the weekends, and then went off to school and college and stuff. Played a bit of football, but never really got into kind of running. And I started running properly when I was about 24, 25 or so, and then did my first duathlon when I was about 25, I think. Yeah, about kind of 8 years ago ish, and just fell in love with it, and just kept. I was training on my own, and I hit a bit of a wall, a plateau in the kind of training. So then was kind of looking for help to see how I could improve. But yeah, just trying to put that running and cycling together. It's quite a challenge.
So how was you doing before you before you found us with for coaching? How was your performance and how was your health?
Yeah, it was okay. I had a so when I got into duathlon, I started training. I had a couple of successes. So I came fourth in a race and kind of got a trophy, and that felt great. And I didn't have a coach at that point. And then a friend suggested to me trying to qualify for the GB age group team. So I kind of did some research, looked what did I need to do? Never thought it'd be possible, and actually sought out to find a coach. So I had my first coach, not knowing what that was meant to be, and I had a coach for about 2 years, and they helped me qualify for the GB team. So it was a real success, but it was a very kind of detached relationship, and I think that it was very not particularly personal. The conversations we'd have around what I was doing in my body. And I think stretching was something that I just didn't do enough of, and strength work. I did a lot of running and a lot of cycling, but not a lot of the other stuff. And so that kind of holistic, kind of just holistic strength just wasn't there. And I think that's changed dramatically since we've been working together for the last kind of 7 months. So just bringing in the stretching, the strength, the check-ins, how is the body feeling, helping me to understand where issues might be and be more body aware. Okay, I'm having tightness in my quad, or I can't get into a certain position. Why is that? How do I, as we talked about, kind of remove those obstacles and then move forward, rather than just worrying about how much power can you put on the bike, trying to work out how do we get my body so it can move in a kind of a fluid and strong way, I suppose. So I think that's been one definite benefit in the last 7 months since we've been working together. And I think just the regular catch-ups that we have. We're on WhatsApp, can message you, get some feedback. Hey Jimmy, what do you think about this? This happened, what do you think? Having these video chats. I know obviously in pandemic time, Zoom call is normal, but this is great. We've just done a bike fit. You can see how my body's kind of moving, working, and you can see things that I can't pick up on, and then I learn from that. So yeah, I think it's been a really positive 7 months for me.
That's great to hear, and we're very grateful to the coach before as well. He did a lot that we didn't change stuff that he'd done, but we just sort of manipulated and started looking at you a little bit more complete, and it's very much a partnership. I feel the way that we work isn't a dictatorship. We work together on solving problems and looking to improve performance, and I think we've looked at pretty much every aspect. And now we're in that point where after 7-8 months, where we're now trying to fine tune every little bit of it as well, aren't we? So we've covered pretty much everything from, like you say, from flexibility to your cycle training down to nutrition and supplementation. And now we're getting to that nitty gritty point where we're starting to just fine tune. And I think it's fair to say that we're starting to see, we saw a little bit of a negative to start off with while you're adapting to some of the changes we've made, but now we're starting to go into the positive, and who knows where we're going to go with it.
Yeah, I think.
How would you?
Sorry, go on, Jimmy.
how would you feel when you sort of, you finish a session that you've seen on paper? It's going to be a tough session. How do you feel when you've completed one of these sessions that we've put in the plan?
That's a good question. I guess it depends on how that session goes. I mean, as you mentioned, my running, we really struggled with my running at the start, and I think that was due to my kind of flexibility and my just body being ready to move in that way. So I think the bike and the run are quite different. I think the cycling I find a lot easier. So when I've done a hard session on the bike, I think I have the strength to kind of, and I guess the mental toughness to get through the bike sessions, and the run I really struggle with. So it's kind of difficult. But I think the ability to reflect on it is the learning, and kind of, why did that run not go so well? It's not very often that a bike session doesn't go well for me. It's normally the run sessions that I struggle with. So it's about how do I take this as a learning and then move forward from it, rather than sitting on it being a negative thing, as I didn't hit the splits or didn't make the times that I wanted to, or it didn't feel right. What can I do to move forward? And I think that's the really key bit. And if you can't do that and have someone to help you do that, I think you'll just get stuck in a rut. And I think that's what happened, before we met and gone around this kind of start of the time. And you helped to kind of coach my approach to that and the reflection on that. And I think that was really important to allow, because the tough sessions that are hard physically aren't the ones you really need to worry about. It's the ones, well, for me anyway, it's the ones that are tough mentally, because they can set you off, put you off your game and really impact everything else. So I would say those are the ones to really kind of focus on.
I think it's fair to say that we will get into a point where we were going to risk your enjoyment, because you were beating yourself up. Some of the sessions weren't quite going to plan. I knew you were going to go back in performance a little bit before you accelerated, just because you needed time to adapt. And we had to definitely look at your mindset and how you were reflecting on your sessions. And like I say, we're age group level. It's very important. It's enjoyable, and it mustn't become a point where you're beating yourself up so badly because things aren't going how you want them because of your mindset. And we've definitely worked on talking it out, asking the right questions of yourself to reflect on it, and not use it as a bad thing, use it as a positive thing, so your training can develop and be better going forward. Yeah. You found us through referral. It was through a client of Paula's who I think Paula's trained her for about 5 or 6 years now. And she's your therapist. She does sports therapy for you as well.
Yeah.
And she's obviously done really well with Paula as well. And referral is always our greatest way of getting clients in, because it's on experience. We can tell everybody how good we are at coaching, but it's all done experience. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about getting a coach or looking to get some help with their training?
Good question. So I kind of got your contact through my therapist, physiotherapist I've known for a long time. And I guess knowing that you had succeeded in duathlon as an age group and much else, I think really gave me confidence that you knew what you were doing and you've been through it. Whereas my previous coach was really cycling specific with a bit of running thrown in. So I think that really kind of matches up, right? That's what I'm trying to do. You know about the sport. You've done it. I think in terms of trying to find a coach, I think have a conversation with someone, find out what do you want to get out of it, and then speak to them about your goals and kind of where you want to go with it. Because I think my first coach, I wasn't really clear on that, and I think potentially, although didn't do any harm, but I think I probably could have done a better job of finding a better coach at that first point. I think just finding out what your goals are, make sure you're aligned on that with your coach, and understand what's the relationship that you kind of work well with. Is it a very personal one? Is it a detached one? Do you want to speak 3 times a week? Do you want to speak to work out what you want from it, and then approach them with that, rather than necessarily being led by just what they want, I suppose. Which is, again, I think what we've done quite well, and why I've enjoyed the last 7 months of training.
Absolutely. And I think I don't coach anybody. I don't think I coach anyone I know Paula doesn't either, in the same way. Everybody gets coached slightly differently because we all behave differently, we all learn differently. And some people are very visual, some people are audio, and it depends on how we want to get the message across and how we're going to get the success. Well, Lawrence, I really appreciate you taking the time to just give us an insight into what it's like to be coached by us. Looking forward to getting the number on, getting racing when all this lockdown is over, and we'll see what happens on the results board.
Yeah, yeah, proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much.
No worries.